Now, it might seem like I'm glancing over something. What is a line? Well, a line can be many different things. In fact, there are many different classifications of making lines. For example, there is your horizontal line, your vertical line, a simple slanted line, usually in one-to-one functions where it's a direct incline or decline. Then you've got parabolas, which we will not cover yet. Hyperbolas, again, will not cover yet. You've got steps. And you've got squiggles. There's a whole bunch of lines out there. Now, we're going to talk about some of the simpler ones. Vertical ones, horizontal, and direct inclines and declines. Now, first, a horizontal line is usually shown as y equals and x. Doesn't matter what x. And in a coordinate form, a coordinate form, it's somewhere like any x number, it'll cross through that x number at y, which is whatever number. If you choose 2, it'll be a straight line through the second mark on your graph, and it doesn't matter what x it is, it's always going to be 2. A vertical line is a little different, where it doesn't matter what the y is, the x is what changes it. It can be anywhere on the number line, but it's always going to be something on the y value. The difference, the horizontal line has a slope of 0. A vertical line has a slope of undefined. Now, what's a slope? The slope is how much the change of the x and the y is. Specifically, the slope is the second y-coordinate minus the first y-coordinate over the second x-coordinate minus the first x-coordinate. It's also been shown as delta y delta x. Now, for inclined lines, the slope is very important, and we generally want to know what it is sometimes. Especially when graphing by hand, you want to know how far to go. For example, if the slope is 3, the slope is a y of 3 over an x of 1. Meaning, on a graph, a simple graph, for every x, it moves up 3 y spaces. If it was a negative 3, for every x, it would move down 3 spaces. And here we have ourselves a little line here, but the vertical lines have, well, no slope. It's undefined. We have no idea what it is, because there is no change over x and y. In fact, if we chose the origin and chose a vertical line that went up to, let's say, 3, Well, it'd be 3 minus 0 over 0. There was no change in the y. There's no change in the x, so it's no slope. There's an undefined number of 0 because it's subtracting itself to 0, and you can't have 0 in the denominator. Since there's no change to the y for a horizontal, the slope doesn't change at all. Now, for these inclined and declined lines, there's something called the x-intercept form, which is y is equal to mx plus b. Y being how tall, how high up the scale it goes, m being your slope, x being whatever value you plug in for x, whether it's 1, 2, or 5, and b is where the y-intercept is. Now, what do we use this for? Well, let's say we have a line. Y equals 3x plus 2. That means it crosses the y-axis at 2, has a slope of 3, and since it's a positive 3, that means it is going to go up on the scale, and x is x. So, in a quick drawing, this looks a little like this, where if we plug in a 0, it's 0 times 3, which is 0, plus 2. So x is 0, y is 2. X is negative 1 times 3 is negative 3, plus 2 is negative 1. Negative 2 times negative 2 times 3 is 6. Negative 6 plus 2 is negative 4. It's off scale, but it's about here. If it's going up from left to right, then it's a positive slope. If it's going down, it's a negative slope. What's the slope? 3 over 1. Or let's say we have something in general form, such as 3 times y plus x equal to 3 times x minus 1. To get into general form, we distribute. Move variables around. Divide, and there you go. Y is negative 1. What's the slope here? 0. There is no slope. Why? There's no... It's 0x minus 1. That means there's no slope for the x. Now let's see. What should we do with this? Well, besides figuring out what the slope is by looking at that equation, you can also use it for point slope. The equation y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So, let's take coordinates 0, 2, and 5, 17. So we've got 17 minus 2 is equal to m times 5 minus 0. 15 is equal to m times 5 divided by 5, 3 is equal to m. 3 is your slope. And that is how you use points to find the slope of a line.